morning, everyone. Welcome to our regular podcast, Corporate Beyond Stories. As always, with you is me, Kat. 안녕하세요. And then we have Parush.
Hello, hello.
And we have Kolaj.
Доброе. Good morning, everyone.
One more week, and I'm gonna practice my 안녕하세요 in a real country where they use that word.
Looking forward to seeing that. And when, by the time we publish this episode, we will be back.
Oh, so we can then talk about how was it. Anyhow, let's start with fun fact. What did you prepare for us, Collage?
Yeah, let's do one more related to space. So last time we talked about astronauts. The recording before it was about DNA. This time it's about how glad we can be that sound doesn't travel through space, because if it does, you can imagine that sun actually creates a sound, and it sounds like a loud drilling, like if somebody would be drilling next to you. So if sound is transferred through space, we would have this drilling 24/7 everywhere. And even if the sun dies, it would take 13 years for the sound to calm down. So we would be still like in the dark, and the drilling would continue. So
that's not a place I want to live in. That's not the world I want to live in.
It's enough that my neighbors do it on Sunday at 7 a.m. I cannot imagine.
And when the walls are the best, the softest, 7 a.m. You need to do that at the time.
That's the living in flats. Welcome to reality. And last time we talked about salaries, and I want to continue in the talks of the salaries, specifically for performance. What could we suggest them, like do's and don'ts?
It's a really good question.
When you have nothing to say, just say it's a really good question.
So last time we basically argued that you don't specifically need to and come with a proposal like, please increase my salary. Although you can do that. It's already in the work, usually on the background. So that's one of the things we mentioned. So based on that, what you need to do is basically to have nice performance when it comes to results. And with that comes also, I don't want to call it professional behavior, but I would say human behavior, cooperative behavior. So that would be the other aspect of it, which I see here. Don't be an asshole. So that's basically it.
Maybe what I would add to what Kolaj said really well, it's like nice performance, but it cannot be just like, for example, the last 3 months. It should be something very steady. So when Kat says like performers, we are talking about performers, and we are not talking about the people who became performers 3 months ago. So it's something you have a proof track record of being a performer.
In my opinion, is like, especially if you just join the company, so the first 6 months you're just learning. Another 6 months you're only starting to be capable to perform the job. That doesn't mean you're a performer. You're just now doing the job. And the next year is when you can start really performing well and showing not only what you were able to learn, but also either add on or come up with some proposals for change and so on and so forth. And for the don'ts, I would say never threaten manager or the company, for example, with, if you don't raise my salary, I quit. Don't do that at all. If you do want to do that, but not in this way, find yourself a new job and then resign properly. So if you do want to threaten, you already need to have your backup plan that you are leaving to a different company, you have the reason for it, etc. But that still doesn't mean you should threaten. If you plan to change and the company might realize, oh, we don't want to lose you, etc., you need to know the reasons, like why you are changing, right? But still don't threaten, because you are harming your brand, and you should leave your brand still top notch, even if you're leaving. And even if you're in your 2 weeks notice, 2 months notice, depends on the country, you should still perform, because you're still getting salary. That doesn't mean that now I'm just going to be lazy, it's like vacation. No, you should still perform. So really keep your name on a top brand that you want to leave your name.
Yeah, unless you have vacation left.
Fair enough. But when you're taking vacation and you're not in the office.
Kat, I want to touch on one thing which you mentioned, and that's about the changes and proposals for change. I feel that you can afford this as if you want a salary raise or if you want to be a performer, it usually comes hand in hand that you are moving somewhere, whether it's process-wise or personally wise. So the process-wise it means that company is evolving itself, and you need to catch up. So you want to be somehow involved in the change and be still relevant, I would say. That's one thing. The other one is that you as a person can move in or can be upskilling. That's what that we've touched that also in the previous episodes. So you are learning, moving forward. So this changes and innovations, proposals could be also tied to that. So you are bringing something new value in terms of skills, in terms of yourself. So that's also one thing you can consider as a step towards a salary raise or step towards high performance connected to that.
Any other do's and don'ts? Any suggestion?
Another thing which is connected to that, ask and give feedbacks. That's, I would say, one of the crucial aspects of our work, to ask for feedback, how we are doing. And that could be with managers, with your peers, with your clients, whoever there is. And the best would be asking from everyone so that you have 360 degrees feedback, but also give feedback. So if you see that there is a possibility of improvement, and again, whether it's to a person or to a process, share it. Again, don't be rude about it, but there are ways how to make it sound nice or how to make it effective, and say it out loud, to name the elephant in the room and move it forward. So feedback is, I think, a really, really crucial aspect out of it. Even, I would say, even like a power skill for us in this current age.
One thing I would add is don't try to compare yourself to others in front of your manager or whoever is approving your raise. It could be detrimental to your progress or to your way towards the raised salary. The reason why you shouldn't do it is because, for example, I feel like my salary is unfair to some other colleagues because they do less and have more salary. This can be very untrue because we don't really see everything that people do, especially in corporations. We see people just sitting behind computers. You don't really see what projects they are working on. You might hear some conversations, you might attend some meetings together with that person, but unless you are there every time, everywhere where that other people are, you probably are missing stuff that they are working on, and therefore it's quite unwise to compare yourself to others and demand the salary that they have.
Nice example could be that you have two sellers and one seller makes one deal and the other one creates 10 deals, 10 sales, and then the seller with 10 deals is like, why I have lower salary than the person with one deal? And then you find out that your deals have amount of 50K and your colleague makes a deal with 1 million. So that's what actually can be behind all the salaries and everything going around, the complexity, the amount, whatever. There are various aspects towards it.
You can you can use it more for a motivation, like where you want to get to. So if we're gonna use the example with Baruch, I could ask Baruch if I could job shadow her and learn about her work, projects that she's working on, the skills that I would need to obtain that she's using on a daily basis, to really see how far I would need to get to if I would want to have a salary as Baruch has, as an example. But never use it, really don't use it when you have the discussion with your manager and you would go, but I am better than Baruch, or Baruch is better than me. Yeah, I do more. Don't do that, because you have literally no idea what your teammates are doing. Only the manager has an overview of that. So you would really, it's like a pointing gun at yourself. So just don't do that.
It sounds really childish when it comes to that. Although there are definitely gaps. There are definitely gaps. And we can talk about it from the perspective of, employees. We can talk about it from the perspective of, men and women. There are definitely gaps. It's just that it shouldn't be the trigger point for you in terms of like coming, and this is my argument, unless you have really a proof for that. I know that the European Union is trying to do something with this so that we can compare the salaries, but still it shouldn't be the main trigger when it comes to you and giving a proposal.
Exactly. Focus on yourself, focus on your skill set, what you should learn if you want to get higher salary, what new skill sets you need to obtain, but just don't compare. Compare if you want a motivation, but not as a negotiation for salary raise. Let's talk a little bit about change of the position, like rotation, whether that goes hand in hand with also salary increase. What are your experiences?
My experience when changing positions, and I've got a few, it's kind of like starting a new job in a new company. So you are basically learning at the very beginning, and honestly, I would not expect a salary raise at that point. You are getting more responsibilities, yes, but at the same time, you might not be able to or capable to fulfill those responsibilities right away to 100%. So it's kind of like you need to find the balance when to ask for salary after changing positions.
Here, I would argue that it depends on your new manager, on your new leader. I've met with both. I've met with both attitudes. I've met with the leaders who are like, "Oh, you need to grow into that role. So we are gonna accept you. We are giving you the new responsibilities. You need to learn them, and then you will get a new salary." And I've met with the leaders where they are like, "I want my person to be done deal. So I'm gonna give you the salary raise just the beginning as you're entering, and we will move forward from that." And that's it. I know about both of these attitudes happening.
From my experience, I would say if you are motivated by salary, for example, you need to pay your mortgage, etc., the fastest way to get what you want is actually leave the company and go to a different one, because that's where you negotiate the starting salary. They don't know you, they don't have the salaries in the system, etc. For example, here in Slovakia, all promoted jobs also need to promote the salary that you can get the job for. So you're already getting the overview of like where you could get if you would get that job, right? So if you really, really are motivated by the salary because of whatever reasons, that's your quickest way to get it. You need to leave your company and go to another one. If you stay in your company and you want to build your brand, you want to build your career, then you will meet exactly what Kolach said, that it depends on both the leaders. And also sometimes it can be because of whatever economic situation in the world is. Might be that they will allow people to rotate, but without any salary increase because of the economic situation. So you need to be fully aware what is your motivational goal for that, right? So dear listeners, if you had a situation that we might have not covered, please leave us a comment, right? We would love to touch it and then explain more, or even ask our friends at HR just to have more eyes, more ears on that part. My recommendation is every time you are going to have a discussion with your manager about this, you need to prepare yourself. And if you are just not sure, you can either Google how to prepare for negotiation of my salary, or nowadays very popular thing, ChatGPT. You can ask the AI. I don't know why, but I call her. I gave her a female gender. So you can ask ChatGPT as well for some guidance, for example, and see what it will reveals. So that's definitely my recommendation.
And if you have some crazy story which you would like to share with us, or we should share them with the world, or topic we should cover, you can still email us at corporatebs@yahoo.com.
I haven't heard about Yahoo for the past 20 years. I had no idea it still exists.
You know, that's the thing. We are talking about corporate world, so we are using corporate solutions for the past, old solutions. So Yahoo is still old as corporate, so why not?
And with that said, 수고하셨습니다.
Bye bye.
Ciao, 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 ciao. Have a nice day. Bye, bye, bye.
This podcast represents our own opinions, experience, and our own ideas. We do not represent any official statement from our employers, and this is not their official channel representing the company.